So, welcome everyone to another episode of Thrive Weekly. Today's conversation is one that really touches on what it means to live fully in the moment, even when we pursue our dreams and build the lives we envision for ourselves. My guest today is someone I really like, whose creative eye has helped countless people see themselves in a new light, quite literally. Elliot François is a Trinidadian photographer specializing in headshot and portrait photography with over 15 years of experience behind the camera. His journey began back in 2007, inspired after a European tour with the Rapsod group Three Canal, who I love very much too. And since then, he's carved out a unique space blending creativity, professionalism, and storytelling. With a background in theatre arts and a flair for capturing emotion through light and shadow, Elliot's work reflects both the technical precision and emotional connection that make his portraits so very memorable. But beyond the artistry, what really stands out about Elliot is the way he connects with people, how he helps his clients see themselves, often in ways they've never seen before. So, Elliot, before we dive into that moving post you did the other day, I'd love for you to start by giving us a deeper dive for our Thrive audience. You know, who you are. Tell us about your journey and what you love most about connecting with the folks that you do such great work for.
Wow. Thank you very much for that very fantastic introduction, Christine. Like, wow, is this really me she's talking about? Um, I think you covered the gist of the whole thing of like a synopsis of my life.
Yeah,
But there, I mean, of course, in everybody's journey, there are many little pockets that would be missing, of course.
right.
Some things you want to share, some things you don't want to share. The bacchanal thing, no,
Oh gosh, boy. Oh gosh, the bacchanal.
yeah, not the bacchanal.
Not the bacchanal.
But simple lifestyle, lived in Diego Martin all my life, born and grew up in Diego Martin. Uh, Went to Queen's Royal College, so that might be a something for people as soon as they hear QRC. It's like, okay, he's one of them, all right. But at QRC, you learn a lot of intellectualism.
Yes,
Very deep thinkers in from the school. So I think that helped to spark how I think about the world and life and so on. And did some other things throughout life. You know, you go to school, you go to UE. My first job was in Caribbean Packaging Industries. 3 months before the coup.
oh
So,
Lord.
so it's like, what is going on? What is happening? Worked in banking, worked at Cott and Media Insight with Alison Demas.
That's where I first saw you.
That's where you first met me.
Yes,
And she's a gem. She's a gem.
she is.
She really she sees things in people and works as best as she can with them. And I believe I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Did my first degree in theater, did my master's at Lockjack in small and medium enterprise management with a fine cohort. I'll mention them later on, but they really help to hone, and the course itself helps to hone small business and the
Right.
operations rather than just saying you have a master's to add to your certification. It helped to groom me into being a better businessman.
Awesome.
So so the theater and the masters, I think that helped to move me deeper into where I am today.
Wow, wonderful. You know, and of course, all the QRC boys just hold up on him, just give him a
Oh
little
gosh,
break, right? Just
Father,
no
Father.
pressure today, no pressure.
No pressure, no bacchanal, please. I just passed through the school. I passed through.
Well, Elliot, recently you shared something very moving. Certainly it was to me, and for all the people who responded to that post on LinkedIn. It was a reflection that reminded so many of us, Elliot, about the importance of presence and perspective. You were
Mhm.
sitting in your car. I'll just remind you, you were sitting in your car outside of the city's hospital after taking your mother-in-law there, and it became a really a powerful moment of clarity, I believe, for you. So tell us what was going through your mind and your heart in that moment.
Wow, it it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things I went through. My soul,
Mm,
in my soul. I mean, yes, we're thinking, but you're feeling a lot of things as well
yeah.
because of having gone through the activity. My father passed away in 2022, and my mother passed away in 2023. And then right now, we are at an age, us who are in our 50s and 60s, our parents are in their 80s and 90s, and you see mortality in a very real way.
Mm,
Uh, uh, Hospital visits and clinic visits are very real and frequent, and it it helps you, I think, to put things, or it should help you to put things in perspective into how we see life and the trappings of life, and especially like you and I, entrepreneurs, working for ourselves, and how other people who live for the corporate life and live for the 9 to 5 or the 8 to 7 or the 7 to 7 on weekends too,
yeah.
and how we balance life. So we've seen our parents live in the 60s, 70s, 80s, where the economy was a certain way. You
Yes.
could have lived a certain lifestyle. You could have bought a home in the 70s on one job, working for the government. Right now, I'm around so many people around my age.
Yeah.
When they think about a house as 2.1 million or minimum 1.8 million,
Yes.
it's like, where on earth are we finding that kind of money?
Yeah.
The reality of that is stark. But before that, the lifestyle that our parents have lived, it didn't necessarily attend to mental health or physical health.
Yes.
So basic things like walking, talking, talking out feelings,
Yeah.
exercising, watching our weight, watching the things that we eat, uh, and living a certain type of lifestyle that would help us to not have to wear the white socks and white shoes on the cruise line and catching your tail to walk up the stairs, and you know that this person is laboring with diabetes or hypertension or XYZ or walking with an oxygen tank. Those types of things, I don't think they were prepared for life in the after 70 years old or after retirement at 65. And how do I maintain a certain type of lifestyle physically, mentally for that time? And I think we, like you and I around our age, we
Yeah.
are more equipped. We have more information at our fingertips to uh, position ourselves to do certain things to better the way that we exist in these times. We already have a plethora of things going on politically and socially and la 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 la. But what do we do for ourselves to ensure that we
Yes.
could still exist properly? And I think we need to be cognizant of that and straighten up the path and right the track. And make sure we come back on stream to do
Yeah.
what we should.
Definitely righting the ship.
Right in the ship, exactly. That's what I was
Exactly.
looking for. Okay, we could do so much more.
I agree with you. You know, you talk about when our parents and even our grandparents, they didn't have many of the concerns we have today. They didn't have, well, grandpa and grandma, they probably both weren't working. That's number one. There was a mom or a grandmother at home who took care of a lot of the emotional environment for the household, and dad worked. But in today's environment, you know this, I know this as entrepreneurs, we are constantly, but let's not say you and I, because we have learned to separate time out to make sure that we take care of the other parts of our lives. But so
Right.
many entrepreneurs that I am seeing or I follow on social media, LinkedIn particularly, we don't seem to talk about constantly being in go mode. We talk about sales, and we talk about pursuing the dream, and we talk about startups, and we talk about the grind. And you know, it contemplates for us. We tend to contemplate now on not particularly balance. I was listening to Myron Golden recently, and he was saying you're either in focus, which means you're focused on your business, or you're in balance, which was an interesting concept for me because it means that you carve out the time to be in balance, to rest, to get that rest that your body deserves, etc. What have you learned about finding balance between your ambition and your presence?
What kind of bacchanal question is that, Christy? What kind of bacchanal question?
Well,
Um,
you have ambition. I know
I
that.
do. I do. And the thing about that for me is I find peace in my ambition. I
Mm,
find joy in my ambition. So going for it is not necessarily a rest time, but my mind is going as to how we can do it better. And I say we because I'm talking on behalf of my wife and I.
of course.
Um, we 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 want more for ourselves, and it's not like extraneous or anything. So, but it's to exist properly, and whether it's traveling or purchasing a car or whatever have you.
Yeah,
Once we can get those things achieved, we cool. Once we could do it comfortably and see about all the daily trappings and the daily bills and so on, we cool. There are people who want a lot more, of course, because desires are desires. But for me, I'm we have our exercise, we do our walking. When we get a chance to, sometimes we just say, look, I feel like doing a walking, I good right here. But we do our best to make sure that we keep active, we keep
yes.
moving. And I think the making sure that we move as often as possible, that's critical to us. But my balance is making sure I stop and do nothing, because stopping to do nothing is great
Yeah,
to just stop.
yeah,
And yes, we check out social media and we scroll in and doom scrolling and wherever it is. But I'm always thinking about what is out there for us, and what technology is out there, what style of editing is out there. That's my creative time, my cooler time. And then I could get up and go back into editing, or go back into figuring out something about some editing style that works for someone out there, far out there. Um, yeah, yeah. I think about myself as an international artist, as opposed to a Trinbagonian artist, and that opens up my mind really widely to possibilities, and that's how I find balance.
well, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think before, when we were getting ready for this conversation, I was telling you my perspective is it has to be fun.
Oh
And
gosh, yeah.
and
That
why
that is that is critical.
critical? It's got to be fun, else I'm not doing it. Right? There are some things that we have to do on a daily basis. It's like brushing your teeth.
Mhm.
You got calls to make, you've got the routine that sometimes may seem boring, but if we can give it a different perspective in terms of if I do this could potentially be the outcome, then
Mhm.
we can literally create fun if we give it some attention. And that is what I have found. Have you found that too?
Well, I think it's critical, and the thing is, Christine, is how you see life
Mm,
and again mortality. And I always think about the fact that we have finite time here, and
uh-huh.
especially as we get older, it's like, okay, so realistically speaking, I'm 55. I have hopefully about 30 more okay years on the earth.
You're a
All
young
right.
boy, man.
I mean, with
Only
relatively
55?
good health, with relatively good health, I say in 30 years going into 85, then
Yes.
any number could play once you play cards in a good way.
Yes.
So within this space now, if you break it down in months or weeks or you see that we really don't have a lot of time. So to pay attention to people and shepherdness, and right now we have now. So we had to maximize now. And in that now, why not try to see how much good times and fun that you could have? And especially in the work that I do, if I could pass that on to people to make them realize the goodness or the greatness that they have, and I could translate it into photos, and they see
Yeah.
themselves in a whole different light. Many of them never did a photo shoot before, so I have to groom that energy and show
Yes.
that, it's really not that bad. I ain't photogenic, and I don't like to take pictures and all. It's like, why? What is going
Mm.
on with you? You don't know what power you have within you. So let me show you what's going on in camera here, and it switches everything, and that's my joy to show that energy in someone.
Yeah, I love it too because I've seen your pictures, and as I told you, when I am doing my shoot, you're the man. You're
I'm
the
waiting for
man.
you. I'm waiting for you.
Family.
Mama, Lele.
Oh my gosh. Listen, Elliot, you've spoken about the need for entrepreneurs to prioritize their health and wellness. What does that look like for you in terms, particularly in your
It
mental
has
space?
been quite a challenging experience being in the arts
Yeah.
for over 35 years. Yeah, over
Mm-hmm.
35 years being in the arts. And the the business behind the arts is, I would say, lacking in
Yeah.
terms of the full understanding of how to operate in this space, because we as a country don't see arts as business. Even
Yes.
in the past few budgets that they're talking, you'd get a paragraph or a line or something so in the budget, but a lot to education. But the thing is, entertainment is part of our education. As a people, Panorama is one of the biggest exponents of our arts in Trinidad and Tobago. So you can't speak to English without speaking to music. You can't speak to maths without speaking about theater, because they're all parts and parcel of our fabric. So going through my 35 years, it's been arts, I in theater, I in music, and throughout that, I've always been trying to find the business in it. But because we're so grounded in how fast that man playing or how good that man is on stage, we don't pay attention to or don't respect the people who understand or want to do the business of it in order for us to be a more marketable entity on the regional and global sense for the,
Yeah.
the big players to pay attention. So that's been a journey for me to find a good mental balance over the years.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started to do me and I started to tell my story through my lens, so to speak. Well, it's kind of change through my lens. Then I started to build in my flavor, build in my strength, my mental strength about who I am and the decisions that I've made and why I'm doing this.
Yes.
And once that locked in, I as I said, I grew strength. And in knowing what you're doing and having a purpose and having a strategy behind what you're doing, and it isn't dependent on other people, whether it be leaders or corporate management or whoever, then you grow, your positivity grows, your direction grows. Yes, there will be challenges, but I think the challenges can be met
Yes.
by finding a strategy. And we have all kind of AI to see about helping to strategize now, as opposed to going on an encyclopedia or going on a library or hoping that a friend help you. There are all sorts of ways to get strategies done. So you could put in any type of prompt and say, I want to make $1 million from photography over the next 5 years doing headshot. I'm saying what I would do doing headshot photography in London. How do I do this?
Yep.
It can show you various ways to get it done. And it's aside from getting it done is the action and the consistent action to get it done. So those things, I think it's what people need to understand. And I think I've enveloped it somewhat, but
Yes.
to a great deal.
Yeah.
And that has helped me tremendously.
Exactly. I love that perspective because you're saying instead of focusing on all the noise,
All the noise. Yeah, of course, of
respectfully,
course, of
all the
course.
noise as you zero in and just do you and continue to improve yourself and find ways to continue to enhance your business. Of course, that's a lot of mental work, but
That's right.
we've got a lot of tools. And because you find so much joy in what you are already doing, it's that I think it's the joy of discovery. The joy of discovery and the joy of after discovery, it's how can I plan this out and take, I love what you said too, consistent action, because for many, that consistency is one of the most challenging things, especially when it's some people might consider boring. But we've got to learn to find joy in the boring as well, the mundane.
Well,
Let's say the mundane.
well, here's the thing in that it's there must be some decision to say that this is mine.
Mm,
This is mine. So I need to own it.
yep.
There is, especially in the arts, there is consistency, or there has been consistency in saying, boy, things hard, boy, I know how things going. And there's a community, a communing of people with the same kind of energy, saying the
Mm-hmm.
same things. We've been
Narrative.
going through the same thing over for the past 30 years, how
Yeah.
the situation is hard, how times hard. So if you will be a byproduct of your environment, if everybody talking
Yes.
the same thing all the time, so and then your self-talk will be of your environment. And I experienced that as well when I started seeing around 2013, 2014, when I started seeing everybody with an iPhone and everybody taking pictures of different things and feeling that is a photographer. I started to say those things out loud and saying everybody feels as a photographer, and I taken my time to learn my craft, and the more I did that is the less work I got, and the less work I got is the more I went down
The rabbit
the
hole.
rabbit hole
As a
of
man
negativity.
thinketh, as a man thinketh, so is
So
he.
he be.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I went down, and the more I thought, the more I went down, and then eventually I said, but this is not working. This is not working. So I had to retrain my self-talk into nobody could do Elliot like Elliot.
That's right.
Nobody could do me like me. So there's strength in that. And just like yourself, nobody could do Christine like Christine. So the more we talk in that space consistently, is the more opportunities would come towards us. Nobody could do us like us. And that is our superpower. That's our strength, and that's our niche. And finding a niche that would make sense in your space and the talent that you have, I think that is very important to pursue as hard as you can. And once you pursue it consistently and as hard as you can, with joy and fervor, nothing stopping we,
Exactly.
Nothing could stop us.
Nothing. I love that. Nobody could do you like you. Audience, strivers, listen, that's right there. That's a golden nugget. So I hope you wrote that down. What I found too is that so often, and I know we have a few minutes, but I really want to get this one in. So often people neglect their health. They don't really pay, I wouldn't say neglect, but they don't pay sufficient attention to all the things that could create a healthy, not Elliot, not Christine, but John, a healthy
Mhm.
John, and what you just shared about that self-talk is a very big part of our holistic health and wellness. So in what ways or what other ways do you think um, neglecting or not putting that focus on time to take care of our health can quietly sabotage the very goals we're trying to achieve?
The Thinking about the whole thing from a holistic point of view,
Absolutely.
we 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 like what I spoke about in that talk with myself or talk with everybody in the car is what we eat and what we've grown up with in the three sets of carbohydrates. You're eating rice and macaroni pie and potato salad
Mm,
and two baked chicken, stew chicken, and XYZ. And do we really need it especially at this age, as we come of age and we've gone through corporate and energies over many years. As we come of age, we into 40s, 50s, 60s. We need to readdress how what we eat. Um, our bodies aren't processing things how they used to. We putting on my weight. I have my weight going on. People said, Elliot, are you accustomed being skinny, skinny? What's going on with your belly? But I mean, metabolism is a bitch, So we see certain things going on with our bodies, that the food, our bodies can't process the food as it used to. So we have to address that as best as possible. And keeping mobile.
yes,
I once read somewhere or saw somewhere that one of the main things that goes first is our leg strength
that's right.
as we get older, and we need to make sure that our legs are strong so that our stability will be as good as possible. So that means that we need to walk, we need to keep mobile, but strength training is very important.
Critical.
Particularly strength training because as we age, our muscles begin to shrink
Hmm.
and lose its density because we almost uh, living ourselves into atrophy. So that by the time we reach 80 something, you're seeing people walking and we need a stick and we be hobbling and all this type of thing. Because we have many people, including my dad used to get up in the morning and do a little walk. My mom, not so much.
Right,
Many people go through a phase or a mental phase where they don't think that they need to do anything, and going on the TV is exercise. Working the finger, scrolling channels is exercise, or being on the bed
right.
and watching K-dramas or doom scrolling, and that's their exercise. That the eyes doing it and the finger doing it, but we need to get up and we need
Yes,
to get some vitamin D outside. We need to smell some fresh air. We need to do breathing exercises. It's a number of things that need to be done
that's
so
right.
that our visits to, and that's what people forget. We need to do these preventative things to make sure that we don't end up in the clinic and see everything that we're seeing and watching the litany of issues that people go through in that hospital and
Yeah.
the lines of people just waiting from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock to see a doctor, do we really need that?